it's Courtney Koenig here, helping you to have a powerful, purposeful, profitable business through your utilizing your human design, your innate gifts, the gifts that you were born with. And each person was born with gifts. Sometimes we don't recognize our gifts, or where they're under the surface, or they're under layers, or we haven't leaned into them. So I was just finished up a human design reading, a chart reading, and talking to the client, and she's like, I saw some of this in me, but I didn't know if this was really mine, if this was my gift or my strength. And I was like, it is yours. And so when we look at our human design chart, we give it ourselves an opportunity to see our strengths, to allow our mind not to say, hey, I don't know if you have that or not, but the chart tells our mind, hey, this is what our soul's gift is. And we can utilize that to have a more powerful, profitable, purposeful boss, and be a boss within that space. So I'm really excited today. We have a manifesting generator on today, and her name is Barbara Imensek. And she is an international LinkedIn trainer, business coach, and consultant, mentor, and speaker. And she supports her clients throughout the world in their ability to grow and profit from their business, which is what we're all here to do. So I would love to welcome Barbara on today. Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Courtney. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone watching.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so excited to have this conversation and share insights onto your chart, to share the beauty that is within your chart and the power that you have. But before we jump into that, you're an MG. So tell us, you're a manifesting generator, but tell us where you're coming to us from, where are you headed to?
Oh, I'm actually from Slovenia in Europe, from a really nice medieval coastal town, just 2 hours away from Venice, by boat or by car. So for those of you who've been there, you're welcome to join us here. Visit Slovenia. Courtney said she's going. She wants to visit it, so I hope she does, and I hope to meet her soon. That's it.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. Yeah, I was telling you about my son who has he's memorized really like all the countries around the world, and Slovenia is his top choice to go to. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. He's going to be so excited that I interviewed you today. So tell us, before we jump into this, I'd love to just to get to know the coaches that are on. Tell us, do you have a favorite book or a show that you've been watching or reading lately?
Actually, my favorite book all time is Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Ooh. It referred to me by a clairvoyant or a person. Once I really felt bad. I felt like I needed to find someone, to read my fortune. And I found someone online. And when it was something boy related, and instead of him giving me a reading, he told me that he suggests I read this book, and I was still regularly employed at that time. And the next day I called in sick because I purchased this book. I called in sick. I didn't finish it. I had to read it, and since then, it's been like 2 decades. Since then, that book has always been with me. It's the only book I don't lend to anyone, it's always my book. And whenever I feel something, I don't feel like myself, or some energies are around me that are not mine, I just open the book. It doesn't matter where, and I always get the right answer.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's amazing. I love that. That's awesome. Now, what's your favorite place to travel to?
Ooh, one of my favorite places, it's London. Oh. But if we go for country, it's Thailand or Bali, because it's green, it's really nice. The nature there is nice. Maybe it reminds me of Slovenia, because we have the green, we have a lot of woods here, we have the sea, and it's the same there. So maybe it reminds me of that, but the culture is different, But otherwise, I like people. So wherever I get to experience people, locals, I love to travel.
Oh, that sounds Bali is on my list too. Like I want to do yoga in Bali and I just feel like my world is complete.
I went to Bali just for one day when I was in Thailand. And
Oh,
I was bored because I was on Phuket off season. There was nothing to do. And I was like 10 miles from the airport. And I just looked online if there are any planes to Bali. So I went just there for, let's say, for a cup of coffee. I spent a few hours there, but just to feel the energy, it was great. So it's still on my bucket list to go there a bit longer.
a bit longer than a few hours. That
Yes.
sounds incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like energy of these places,
Yes.
tapping into it. And that's what human design is doing. It's really harnessing the energy that we have within us and being intentional about what we do with that energy. So in human design, there are 5 energy types. So it breaks it down initially by that. And I love to coach within those energy types first. That's where I always say, hey, this is what we're going to look at first. And from that, we gain so much knowledge and so much application of what we can do next within our lives and in our business. And so you're a manifesting generator, and that's one of the energy types. And one of your amazing powers that you have is you're a multitasking master. Okay, wait. You're laughing at that, so tell me more.
Yes, I'm multitasker, PhD. I cannot do one thing. I always have to do several things at once.
And that's beautiful because you can. So multitasking is your thing and it should be your thing. You can focus on a lot of different moving pieces and parts. And from that way, you get the quickest the quickest pathway to the end result, right? By doing those multitasking. So often in business, we hear or we see like quotes like multitasking is wrong, stop multitasking, just focus. And for you as an MG, I want you to kick those to the curb because those thoughts and those patterns are not for you. So remember, human design is really building patterns for you because life and business is just not one box. Not every person fits into this one box. Is so personalized and beautiful. So you're just, as you multitask, you get this impressive motion as you find your speed. So you're going to find your speed through multitasking, and you can get more done than most people. You're a really speedy creator. Okay, you can have kind of this vision and then create it really fast. So, but with being an MG, and all my clients are MGs, they're like, this is great, but sometimes the greatest thing can also be kind of a curse. Not a curse, but like
I know.
a hardship. So is it a challenge for you to slow down and to be present and to be kind of mindful? Is that a challenge?
Yes, it is. Honestly, it is, because every time, coming from what you said, the quote, multitasking, it's not okay. I try to do a list, I have a list, things to do, and I try to just do once and finish one thing.
Mhm.
And it's not me because I start procrastinating then.
Yes.
And instead of finishing it, I get overwhelmed and I don't do anything.
Yes. Right.
That,
Yes. So in those circumstances, being an MG, you're going to start with when you're like feeling kind of start with something that's pulling at you, that's gravitating towards you, something that's passionate that you're towards. And it might not be that thing, but you'll circle back to that thing when you have the ability to do so and you have greater energy to do so. So it's okay if that thing gets put off a little bit, but utilize your great energy and know that you're going to come back around to it, and it's going to serve you better just to kind of bounce around and not force yourself to do things. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, it makes sense because, when I have 5 things on my to-do list and I work a bit on every of them, it energizes me. It gives me power, when I want to finish one, because people say you focus, then you are more productive. I get the opposite. My
Yes.
productivity, it's non-existent, and it could be days that I don't finish anything.
Yes. Yeah. So you kick that to the curb because that's for someone, that's another energy type.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
you're done with that. So another part of your chart that's just so beautiful is all your energy centers. So on your chart, there's that triangle with the person in there.
Mhm.
And there's all those different points on that person. They look like chakras, right? And human design has chakras, and their chakras each have a job that they do. Now, on your human design chart, there are white centers of those chakras, and those are undefined, which means you do not have those gifts all the time. But there's centers on there that are defined and they're colored in. And those colored in centers mean you have these gifts all the time. All the time you have these gifts. And you can utilize and lean onto that when you're in a moment where you're like, oh, I'm not quite sure, or I am feeling off or something like that, or you're like stepping into a new offer or whatever that is. Okay. So this is your defined centers are the throat, which is communication and manifestation. You have that power. So utilizing speaking, talking to your clients, messaging. Okay, tell me what are you thinking?
I'm laughing because I always had this mindset. I cannot teach, I cannot speak, I cannot do public speaking. And honestly, when I was in high school, I was the one who was the speaker at every event we would have. And then something happened when I went to the uni, and I blocked myself. And for 30 years, if I had to publicly speak, I would start choking. My father committed suicide, and it was such an experience. My subconscious interpreted it as he left me. Even my father didn't love me. And it took me, I think it was 3 years, 4 years ago, that I have a person helping me go through it. And then I started public speaking, teaching, talking to clients. Before that, if you would put me like this, I would be like, yeah, I could no, I would speak like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the trauma was getting stuck.
Yeah, I couldn't. And even, when I was at the uni and we would have to present a paper in front of the class, it was like, I would start shaking. I would get all red, and I couldn't speak. And I would speak really at a low voice. No one would hear me. And I would speak so fast just to get off the stage as soon as possible.
Wow. How did you feel like, so you have this kind of, you flip the script on that. How do you feel? How did you feel then without being able to speak? And how do you feel now?
Oh, now I feel great. At that time, my interpretation was just, maybe, okay, it's, I don't feel good about myself, because me being overweight, I related to that, maybe I don't feel like people judging me, but it was something completely different, and I had one session with one of the therapists that addressed my inner child, and gave me an exercise to do. And like in 3 days, I was able to start publicly speaking again. So yeah, and now I don't have a problem, and one of the things is also, you're not sure about the subject. Maybe it also the imposter syndrome kicked in, maybe I'm not good enough, who am I to talk to others, all these justifications would come to mind. On the other hand, it was just my subconscious interpreted something in a way it knew, that protected me at the time, and it didn't do me any good.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Well, and now that you're speaking all the time, because you're coaching clients all the time, and you're doing speaking events, how do you feel after you speak and you coach?
I love it. I feel empowered because usually my when I speak, I give a lot of value, and I love it when people can use something I speak about, and I love it even more when they give me feedback, when they send me a message or something, that because of something I told them, I spoke about, they got either a new client or they made a progress in their business, whatever, so it's just amazing, and I think, okay, why was I blocking myself for so long? But maybe it just wasn't the time.
Yeah, well, and it's all a journey, And
Yeah.
now, as you have this global business, and as you're coaching, I always like before I step into a coaching session or a live or things, I think of my gifts, or I smell something really good, or I listen to a song that's really empowering. But this is something you can do too. You can know, like, I have the gift of communication and manifestation. I can step into this and then just let it flow. And when those gifts are unleashed, more power comes into your
Yeah.
soul, and it's like you embrace it. So embracing that is beautiful, and it helps us to feel um, more in tune
Yeah.
and with ease and with calm and clarity is too as well. So
Yeah.
on your chart, you also have the heart center. The heart center is defined, and that's willpower. So you have the willpower to make things happen. You have the sacral power, which is your energy. So you have all this energy to do all these things that you're wanting to do, that you're wanting to bring in your practice. And then you have the spleen. The spleen is intuition. Now, its job is to say, hey, this is the direction to go. So, not listening to your mind, taking your mind out of it and listening to your intuition. And so, and we're going to go into intuition a little more, but how have you developed this trust in yourself as you've developed your coaching program and your worldwide coaching practices?
So it starts with the health condition I had in
Mhm.
2007. I had deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism, which I attracted. I've been in a relationship for years that was 2 weeks where was okay, 2 weeks we were off not speaking. So, and thrombosis, it's a blockage in your vein, in your circulation. So it was this thing, and at that time, by accidents or by chance, I was in Germany when it happened. And when I was preparing to go to Germany, I was preparing a lot of, at that time, we still had iPods, a
Oh,
lot of audio materials. And amongst them was Louise Hay, Healing, Living Wisdom, Loving Life, something, and Heal Your Body. And interestingly, because in the mornings I would have sessions because I went to study German there. So I was in classes till noon, and then the rest of the day was free. And I like to get lost in the places I am. And every day I would listen to Louise Hay, and every day I would come across, even though I had more than 100 hours of materials to listen to, but there was this, what is a this is? This is, it's an imbalance in your life, And what do people do when they are faced with a disease? Instead of embracing it and accepting it, they start to fight it, you know?
yes.
Yeah. So when I got this, the diagnosis after a week, because I thought, I had a blister on my foot and now it's sore, and that's why my leg was basically really hard, But then I said, okay, let's go to the ER, and it was that. And then I said, okay, that's the situation. Now what? And then I realized that what I was thinking, feeling, and saying was not in synchrony. It was, I would act out of impulse. I would say something. The next minute I was sorry, but like a broken glass, once you break it, you cannot unbreak it. Things can go back to there, but they're not always the same. And this was the realization that something was not okay. So I started changing after that. That was the thing that got me to personal growth to spirituality a bit more,
Yeah.
and everything then followed. And before that I was really, because of my father's death and also my childhood, I lived in an abusive. My father was an alcoholic, my mother was a workaholic. This wasn't my father's first suicide attempt, so
Um,
I would save him twice before. And you build up walls, and because I built up walls when I was working in corporate, I was really a mental person, because I could control things through that. I
yes.
wouldn't let feelings get to me.
Right.
I would even engage in relationship with married men, because I wouldn't let anyone get close to me.
You would
Uh,
pull it off. Yeah.
yeah, so it doesn't mean that I didn't hurt, but that
Yeah.
was how my mind. And I was a completely mental person, processing everything through mind until deep vein thrombosis. And then I said, okay, something's not working here because I attracted this because of that, And then a lot of literature came to
Oh,
me, I came across, maybe I started noticing it, and there was this, try to find the balance between the heart and your mind.
right.
And then I also started doing energy painting. I started meditation because if you would tell me a few years before that I would meditate in my life, I would tell you you're crazy because I wasn't that kind of person.
Right.
So,
Well, and for an MG, for all your energy, it's hard to, it's hard to get in
and,
that space. You have to really practice presence and being calm.
yeah, and then I started noticing changes. When I would make a decision out of my heart, it was a great decision. It brought me great results. And then I said, and also the manifestation, people call me witch, because many times I say things and then they just happen. I
Yeah.
cannot do it, and because I think I'm blocking myself on some fields, but many times, I just mention a thing and it happens, and people are just like, how?
Yes.
It's just the way it is, But I had to learn it. I had to go through the process of being completely a mental person, realizing it's not working because it wasn't bringing results, and learning to trust my heart or intuition or whatever.
Yes. Yes. And did you, so in your path to become a coach, a business coach, and help people with their LinkedIn and all those things, did you use your intuition to guide you through that process?
Yes,
Like,
I did. Honestly, I did, because when I first started, uh, I was learning LinkedIn 2 years before I decided to make it a business. I would get every possible course available. Then I would ask friends and family if I could help them on their profiles and help them with strategies. Everything for free. And then I started my first courses, live courses. Teaching people in January, before March, when the world actually closed down,
COVID,
So,
yes.
yeah. But on the other hand, the world opened up.
Yes.
And I don't know how, but I got invited to a pitch from an international corporation present in 30 countries. And I got that pitch and I trained that corporation. I don't know how I got to them,
Mhm.
but just I trusted my guts, and I said, okay, there was this, would you like to prepare an offer, and would you like to come present me? There will be 10 people from around Europe. Okay, let's do it.
That is
you
so
know
beautiful. And people talk all the time in business about making things happen, right?
yeah,
What we don't address is this intuition and following that intuition that's leading us in the right way. And so oftentimes we block it. So, of course, we're trying to make things happen our way. But if we just allow that intuition to come forward, it's going to bring those things in. And it's honestly, we don't have to do much. We just have to put out good work and be ready and available and be listening to what's the next step, be guided through that. And your chart is all about intuition. So the more you lean into this, the more your business is going to expand. So there's a channel on your chart coming from the spleen to the sacral. So the spleen, again, is intuition, and the sacral is energy. And so a channel is another flavor of our personality, another utilization of gifts that we can lean into. And so this is the channel of power. Now, I always tell everybody, like, I pull your chart before, like, my gift as a projector, which is another energy type, is to really see people and to feel people. I have a lot of open centers.
Mm-hmm.
So I can really feel different waves of intuition and emotion and all these things. So I just feel what the chart is trying to tell me. And the chart was like, intuition, intuition, intuition the whole time. So, but this is the channel of power. And this is embracing the power of now. You have the power to bring about change. You're swift and decisive into action when you're following that intuition. So lean into that, and you empower people towards achieving their goals.
Yeah.
So how have you seen this power as you have been coaching your clients throughout the world?
Honestly, I believe in them when they don't believe in themselves. And then I would get feedbacks from my clients. You give me wings to fly.
Oh,
Because I show them ways. Many times people think business is complicated because they don't know how to approach it. Many times people think LinkedIn is my passion. It's really become my passion. And business coaching and consulting, it's something I'm really good at, but LinkedIn is my passion. And what really empowers me, it's seeing people I work with succeed. But it was really interesting because when I would ask people, why do they like working with me?
mm-hmm.
What's the difference between me and other people they worked with? And then they would go, you make it sound so easy. You show ways to make it easy, and you give me wings to fly. And I was, okay, that's great.
That's beautiful. That is really that's beautiful. Because it's sometimes people overcomplicate things. Well, honestly, I think that
honestly, I do it too,
Yes.
And sometimes we just have to go back into our childhood and think about like a child, because they don't know complications. They just know things, how to do it, but
yes, and they don't overthink it. Again, going back to the brain, let's kick the brain to the curb, don't overthink things. Just have fun and be creative with the process and enjoy the process. And especially as an MG, the more you're passionate, you're working in your passion, the more you're going to share that energy as a gift with other people and empower them to see you can do this too. It's a beautiful gift that you give. There's one more part on your chart that I wanted to share with you, and it is, let me go over here. Okay. Oh yeah, it's this one. Okay. So it's your 4426 channel. Again, a channel is that heart that from the spleen. This one is from the spleen to the heart. It's that line that goes all the way across. It's colored in. And this is it's the energy of sales and presentation. So you have this intuitive awareness of how to move an idea into form. You have this influential energy about you, and you create this sales process that is easy, but also inspiring to others. And so how in your LinkedIn coaching, like, how does this play out? How do you see this?
I honestly don't sell, I attract, I show the solutions, I remember that because I always said, if you will send me to sell something, I will fail, because in my mind, I'm not a seller,
Yes.
But I remember when I was still working for an advertising agency in the past, and I was an account director, my boss would say, you're the best seller I've ever had. And I was like, how come, And he said, every time you go visit a client, you come back with new projects. And I said, yes, but I showed them what else we could do together and how it could benefit them. I just didn't interpret it as sales strategy. I was trying to show them other options. And I do the same with LinkedIn. I start talking with people, and they tell me what their goals are, where they want to go. Then my benefit or my advantage is also that I'm also a business coach and consultant, because many times when people approach me to work with LinkedIn, the thing is they don't have the basics of business in place. They don't know who their ideal clients are, they don't know about their messaging and everything. And even though we work on LinkedIn, we cover everything, because in order for you to be successful on LinkedIn, you have to know who you are going to address and how do you want to position yourself. Many times people have this challenge because they know so many things. It was a challenge also for me, because I remember my first banner, I would put in keywords everything I did. So I was like, when I looked at it a few months after that, and I was, come on, you have more than 20 years of experience in marketing, and you prepare something like you didn't work a single day in marketing. So even when I teach LinkedIn, I also teach how to approach clients, how to approach prospects, but in a way that at the end, they will ask my clients, what do they do? Because when someone asks you what you do, you are much closer to closing a deal than when you are pitching yourself.
Yes, right. And you have this ability, and you've curated this ability. It's a gift and a strength of yours, and that you're flipping it around and you're teaching people how to do the same thing is really beautiful. So I just have loved our conversation today. This has been so beautiful. Just such great insights into your gifts and your strengths using your chart, and things that you can lean into even more. And that intuition is going to be your guidepost. It's going to be your compass, and going to guide you forever. And just know when you feel that, you're going in the right direction. I would love to, before we jump off, I just want, for other people who have this intuition, they have this spleen, and yours is really curated. You have like 3 channels coming off of it, 3 gates as well, which all means, it's almost like a spotlight is shown on this. But so oftentimes we don't understand, what does a yes feel like with intuition, or what does a no feel like? Do you have any verbiage around, like, what does a yes feel like for you?
So honestly, I say, if things go straight forward, if there is something I'm thinking about, let me say, when I purchased my first car, I wasn't gonna purchase my car. We went to the car dealership because we were looking for a new car for my mom. And I saw a test car driving by. It was some limited edition car, and I saw that car, and I just pointed at it and I said, I want this car. And they were looking at me like that, we are buying cars like going to buy a loaf of bread or something. They said, you cannot get it because it's a test car. Okay, when can I get it? And they didn't believe me. And in this January, I bought my third car. It's the car served me. I didn't have any problems for 6 years. And then I sold it to my best friend, and she drove it for another 6 or 7 years. So it was really a nice car. So I bought the second one the same way. Then this year, I changed the mark of the car, the make of the car. And I was looking around, and in January, we had a problem because there is a shortage of car supply already,
Yeah,
so I was looking for the cars that were available to get immediately, and, because there was this, I got a nice offer on a cash option. I would go to the bank, I would withdraw money, so I went to the car dealership with $20,000, and they were like, I came to buy this car, and are you not going to take it to a test drive? No. Come on, I want to pay for it, but you cannot pay with cash. You gave me a cash price, and they were, yeah, but you have to make a money transfer. So I had to go back to my bank, so to deposit the bank money again, to buy this car. But it was the same, I felt the car, I saw it online, I decided, And it was like that, and let me give you an example when I didn't listen to my intuition.
Yes. So,
So,
so
yeah.
one thing, let me just break that down just a little. As people have this defined spleen, and they're trying to listen to this intuition, but overthinking things, and everybody, I know how that goes. Is it didn't make sense mentally, but you could feel it. I could even see you when you were talking about the car, you were leaning in.
Yeah.
So I think looking for those physical, like, yeses, like, I'm leaning in, it feels right, it doesn't make sense, but that's okay, that's okay for it not to make sense. So okay, go into your when you did it.
So yeah, in March I decided I'm gonna expand my team.
Yeah.
So there is this program here in Slovenia where you can actually get someone from the unemployment office that has the skills you need to come work for you for 3 months just to test them. It's like a test period, and the unemployment office it's paying them. So
Oh,
I was really lucky. I got a man, and he's working with me now. But I took another person in. And the thing is, before that, before the start, before they sign a contract, they have to do the medical exam. And there were so many problems already with her medical chart being transferred from her doctor to that. It took a month and a half, and I already forgot it. But my friend reminded me that I told her, who knows what the universe is trying to tell me with it, because it wasn't going smoothly with the guy. It went smoothly, and like in 2 weeks, he was already working for me. Here, it wasn't going smoothly. So after almost a month and a half, she got through the process, and she started working on June 1st. And in the first 2 weeks, I saw she wasn't the right fit for me. Yeah, I saw it. But then I said, okay, Barbara, maybe you didn't give her clear instructions.
Mhm.
She deserves another chance. Maybe you are used to doing things. You cannot expect from people to do things the way you do it.
Mhm.
Maybe you should lower things a bit. And okay, I gave her another chance, and she was draining my energy for 2 months. I
Oh.
was so lucky because 2 days ago she told me she's quitting the program.
Oh my goodness.
It was like,
Yes.
no, I was just listen. If things don't go, shh, straightforward. If anything is coming, if you ask yourself any question about the thing. And if I get this question again the day after, stop it. This is not the right thing for you, or it will take you much more energy, time, effort to finish that thing. It doesn't matter. I could have finished the contract we had. But honestly, in the past 2 months, it drained me so much. So my productivity level was non-existent.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
and as an MD, that doesn't feel good because you have this vision, you have this energy that you want to go forward and move forward and produce. And it's disconnect. It feels like being stuck in traffic,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
you're stuck in traffic and you can't get out. And so using that intuition, letting it be your guide, taking the mind out of it is the way to go. And that's a mile marker, a road sign, like, okay, I know your mind's thinking this, but we're not going to pay attention to that sign.
Yeah.
We're going to pay attention to the sign that's in here that's saying, yes, it's all this is the direction you need to go in, because it will all work out in the end, and it will be beautiful. So, Barbara, if I would love for you to share where people can coach with you, where they can connect, what you got coming up.
So they can look me up on social media. I'm on Facebook, Barbara Imensek. They can find me on LinkedIn. I have a Facebook group, How to LinkedIn with Barbara, where I answer all the questions you may have. I go live. It's a group that is dedicated to LinkedIn. So everyone can join if they want to learn more about it. They're welcome. There's no promotion there. I'm not promoting my services there. So no sales. It's a sales-free zone. And just because people don't understand LinkedIn, a lot of people, they don't understand it. And then they approach it the wrong way. So I decided this is my, let's say, the 10% I'm giving back to people.
I
So that's it. I have several programs. I offer a LinkedIn profile setup and or optimization. I run a 12-week program, which is winning the game of LinkedIn in just 20 minutes per day, because that's all it takes to get massive results in 4 to 12 weeks.
Oh, that's
You
awesome.
know, yeah, it is. It really is. When you know how to do it right, you get massive results. I started with unemployed people, and the ones who used the strategy I taught them, they would get a new job offer within 4 weeks on average. So it's a
That's
great result to when approaching right. And what I like most, and because many times I already mentioned, people come join me, start working with me, and then don't have the basics of business, set up. So I
awesome.
like to work one-on-one, and I have a calendar link that people where I can schedule a game changer call to see what their goals are, because it depends how much time are you willing to dedicate to something, and then what your goals are, and then the strategy depends on that. So they can schedule a call with me. It's available on my LinkedIn, the link, and we can discuss LinkedIn. It's a free call, and usually after that, people decide whether they want to work, whether they are willing to commit, because honestly, if you take a coach, it's a commitment and they have to follow through. I can teach, I can support, I can be there to monitor them, accountability body, but I cannot do the work for them.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, that's beautiful. And we'll get all those links and put those out so people can find those easily. Thank you, Barbara, so much for being on, and thank you for sharing your beautiful chart and your beautiful power that you have. So grateful to have you on today.
Thank you very much, and thank you for confirming that I have to lean on my intuition, because that was the thing that sometimes my mind would still go, okay, but thank you. It's a really great aha moment for me.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. Thank you. All right, we'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, wasn't that incredible? Did you feel that shift in that conversation of how we lean into our gifts and what magic it can really do in our businesses to move us forward and to power those projects and ideas and abilities and decisions, right? So everybody, I'm so excited to have you on. Thanks for jumping on today and on the replay as well. And let's rise to thrive. Thank you, guys.